First of all, he's an attorney. He practiced environmental law in Illinois. He's had his own consulting firm for 25 years. He's spoken to over 1 million people over the years. He's been involved with a lot of national conferences, written books. The areas that he speaks on are managing stress, increasing your managerial ability, and sales, effective sales techniques. He has clients, the largest, among the largest companies in the United States, IBM, so on. And it's a pleasure to welcome Jerry, and perhaps you could also tell us about your swim with the dolphins. Thank you.
Aloha. I'd like to welcome you to the program we're going to be doing today on creating high-energy websites and PR materials. And what Dave was talking about is I got an opportunity to swim in the wild with 30 dolphins yesterday, and so it was a really neat experience. In terms of the program that we're doing today, we're going to be doing something you've never seen before. We're going to apply the science of behavioral kinesiology to the art of creating. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever run an ad and it didn't work? Raise your hands. And you wondered why, didn't you? Even when you did, sent out to an A and a B, and why did it exactly work or not work? We're going to actually be looking at how you can understand the dynamics of your ads as well as your websites, because what you have is, in the whole notion of PR, is in effect about 4 seconds to stop somebody. The mail comes in and they're going, garbage, look at, garbage, 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 look at, garbage. And in effect, it's a visual response that they get, and it's a visceral response that they get to say, wait a minute, I think I'll put this in the look at pile. When they're going through websites and you're playing with your mouse and you're clicking, it's an instant decision that people make. So we're going to be looking at the concept of how can we create things that are high energy. So when people look at it, in effect, they get an immediate response that says, wait a minute, I want to take a look. One of our clients that uses this concept, how many of you are familiar with the book series Chicken Soup for the Soul? Raise your hands. Yeah, they will not release a book unless it's been through this behavioral kinesiology process. And that came direct from Jack-Canfield, who's one of the key authors of that. So we're going to be sharing all this with you, and I need to share with you in terms of the concept that we're looking at of behavioral kinesiology. What that is muscle checking of the body. Everything around this affects us. It affects us very direct, very immediate, and very dramatic. This is going to look like a trip to you. This is going to look like a magic act taking place up here. It is totally real, and I'll be giving you a whole bunch of explanations as to what's going on with it. Now, how many of you are familiar with this expression, paradigm shift? Raise your hand if you're familiar with that. Okay, for those who are not, paradigm shift is a concept of here we are going along in the world. We all have the same belief system. Our value system is the same. We're all in agreement as to how the world operates. Paradigm shift is something happens or somebody comes along and in effect goes, psst, it's the other way. Paradigm shift is a 180-degree turn from this direction that you're going. Now in this curved part of the paradigm shift, there's a lot of yelling, kicking, hollering, and screaming because we think it's wrong. It's not our belief system. We think it's got to be this way, but it turns out to be the other way. Very simple example of a paradigm shift when the automobile was first invented. There you had the horse and buggy drivers going along going, giddy up, looking over at that automobile and saying, ain't gonna work, ain't gonna last, keeps breaking down, I've got reliability here, giddy up. How many horse and buggies have you passed on the roads recently? Not a whole lot. However, the horse and buggy drivers didn't go into the automobile age gleefully. They went in yelling, kicking, hollering, and screaming because they thought they had the method of transportation. Another example of a paradigm shift is the digital watch. Do you know who invented the digital watch? It was the Swiss. Except they had a paradigm as the way you tell time, it goes this way, around in a circle. It does not flip like that. And so they viewed this thing as kind of a cutesy invention, but no particular value. And they displayed it at a trade show, and this Japanese company, Seiko, came up to them and said, "Can we buy that?" And they almost put the switch out of the watchmaking business, because the switch had a paradigm of you tell time this way. It doesn't flip this way. What you're going to see and experience today is a paradigm shift. It's ways the world operates in terms of looking at PR you have never even suspected was possible. So what I want you to do is take your left hemisphere rational, logical mind and put it under your chair for a while. We'll let you take it out a little bit later, but put it under the chair for now so that, in effect, we can play with this concept. Now, in terms of things being different from how we normally perceive them and still be completely real, let me show you this slide here. How many smokestacks do you see up there? Anybody? 3, okay. How many smokestacks do you see at the bottom? Anybody? 4. This artist is actually able to create, on paper, 3 at the top and 4 at the bottom. How'd you like to have to find your way in that building? On paper, this does exist. On the slide, it does exist. What you're going to see in a moment will look to you as if it's 3 at the top, 4 at the bottom. Your response is going to be, this is impossible, can't be. It's as real as this slide up here. Now, to assist me in this part of the program, I need 2 of you to come up as volunteers. My preference is one of the men, one of the women. Pick yourselves, first 2 up win. Okay, we got one of the women coming up, and we need one of the guys. Okay, I guess I got to do the picking. Sir, why don't you come on up, the guy in the white shirt. Okay, your name is? Lane. Okay. And your name, sir?
Ed.
Ed, okay. Lay, you can be seated there. Ed, I'm going to be working with you first. What both of you are going to be doing is, one at a time, you're going to step in front of me, facing forward. You're going to be sticking your strongest arm out with your thumb turned downward. I'm going to step behind, I'm going to press down on your arm, and I want you to push up when I say resist. So, Ed, you're facing that way. Strongest arm out, thumb turned downward. You're pushing up, I'm pushing down. Ready, resist. Okay. Now, Ed, you felt that as a hard pressure, correct?
Yes.
Okay, by the way, that's as hard as the lines get today, Ed. Now, how many of you have heard of acupuncture? Raise your hands. Everybody, okay. How many of you are familiar with the acupuncture meridian line concept, the meridian lines? Raise your hands. Okay, a couple of folks. For those who are not, when an acupuncturist takes a needle and puts it into a person's body, we're not doing that today, Ed. When they do that, what they're attempting to do is stimulate an energy line that runs through the body called a meridian line. I want to demonstrate that these energy lines, or meridian lines, do exist. This is going to look like a trick. It's not. I'll explain in a few minutes what happened. All I'm going to do on Ed, I'm going to take my fingers by his eye. I'm going to run straight down the same side of his body to the foot once. I'm not even touching the body. Eye to the foot, all the way down, same side once, not even touching. Arm out, thumb down, Ed. You're pushing up. Ready, resist. Come on, guy. Ready, resist. Come on, Ed. Ready, resist. Now, I don't want to leave him this way. Let's put him back. Foot back to the eye. Arm out, thumb down. Ready, resist. Okay, and Ed, you felt that as the same degree of hard pressure as the first time that I did.
That's correct.
Okay, I'll explain in a minute what's happening. You can be seated up here. Lay, come on up. Okay, arm out, thumb down, Lay. You're pushing up.
Yes.
Ready, resist. God, you're stronger than Ed. Just kidding, Ed, just kidding. Now, Lay, you felt that as a hard pressure?
Okay, yes.
Okay. What I want to do now is show you